I used to think the quietest part of the day was around 3 a.m. But lately, I've been reconsidering, it might be right before she walks into the bookstore. Monday, 9:04 a.m. I'm halfway through shelving new releases when the bell chimes. Not dramatic, not slow motion. Just, soft. Like always. She steps in carrying the same brown leather bag. Slight limp, barely there. Her eyes sweep the room like she's apologizing for entering. She nods at me. That's it. No smile, no words. She's not unfriendly, just reserved. I get it. I watch her flick through poetry this time, old spine-cracked editions with that distinct second-hand smell. She lingers on one. Neruda. Doesn't buy it. Doesn't even open it. Instead, she comes to the counter with a single book. A reread, I guess. The same one, I say, holding it up with a small half-smile. Her voice is quiet. Comfort reads aren't logical. She says it without looking at me. I want to ask what's in it that she keeps coming back for. But I don't. I just take her library card and scan it, my thumb grazing the edge of hers by accident. She doesn't pull away. I see her around more now. Not often. Just enough to start noticing stupid details. Like the way she presses her thumb to the corner of pages when she reads. Or how she always checks the time and then checks it again like she didn't trust herself the first time. Sometimes I pass her in the stairwell. Our apartments are 2 doors apart. Hers smells faintly of citrus, sometimes paint. She doesn't talk much in passing. Once, I made a lame joke about the landlord painting the same wall twice and she smirked. Said, maybe he likes doing things over. I didn't know if it was about the wall. I wanted it to be. There's a text on my phone I haven't sent. Been sitting there 3 days. Hey, you left a scarf in the stairwell. Gray. Yours? It's hers. I know it is. But it feels like a weak excuse. I rewrite it. Book club still on Tuesday. Delete, we don't have a book club. Neruda's overrated. Delete, too much. I just leave it blank. Thursday night, I fall asleep on the couch. TV humming something about a storm advisory. I dream of nothing, which is somehow worse than dreaming of her. Then the knock comes. 3 soft taps. Not rushed, not panicked. I sit up, confused. It's past midnight. I check, 12:41. I open the door slow, quiet so I don't wake the guy upstairs. She's standing there. No shoes. Her hair's a little damp, like she's been sweating or maybe just woke up. T-shirt, long cardigan, loose pajama pants. She's holding a thermos in one hand. The lid's off. She says, I made too much tea. That's it. No apology. No explanation. Just a faint breath in like she's about to say more, but doesn't. I glance down, her feet are red against the concrete floor. I flick my eyes toward them, just for a second. Then to the thermos. Then to her. Want to come in? I ask, quieter than I mean to. She doesn't answer right away. Just shifts her weight from one foot to the other, then steps inside. I don't remember what we talked about. I remember where she sat, on the far end of the couch, knees pulled up slightly. I remember watching her wrap her hands around the thermos like she was trying to anchor herself. At one point, I asked her if she couldn't sleep. She said, I wasn't trying to. And looked straight at me when she said it. Part 2, the middle of the night feels different now, 500 words, she stayed for an hour. Maybe 2. We didn't talk the whole time. There were long stretches where she just sipped the tea she'd brought, and I just listened. To the creak of the pipes, the hum of the fridge, her quiet breath between sips. At some point, I asked her if the thermos was always her first move. She smirked. I didn't want to knock empty-handed. I smiled, then regretted it. Like I was making it into something. She looked down, twisting the lid between her palms. I used to do this, she said finally, when I was younger. Just, show up somewhere. A friend's place. A bar. Didn't matter. I couldn't sit with myself too long. That sat between us for a while. I wanted to ask what changed. But maybe nothing had. I offered her a blanket, and she waved it off. If I get comfortable, I'll stay too long. Is that a bad thing? It came out before I could stop it. She looked at me, really looked, and then said, "You're 23, right?" There it was. Not an accusation. Just a gentle reminder. 24 next month, I said. Like that would help. She nodded. My son would have been 24. Birthdays in December. Would've. My stomach went quiet. I looked down at the floor, then at her again. She didn't elaborate. Didn't have to. The silence after it was enough. She stood up to go a few minutes later, the tea half drunk. I walked her to the door, said goodnight like we'd done it a dozen times. But she didn't leave right away. She lingered at the threshold, one hand on the frame. "Thank you," she said. "For not asking questions." "Anytime," I said. Then, without thinking, I reached down and tapped the edge of her thermos. "You left your tea." She smiled, tired. "Keep it. Maybe next time, you'll make some." She left barefoot again, disappearing down the hallway. The next morning, I saw the thermos on my counter and felt unsettled. Like something had shifted and I wasn't sure how to stand in it yet. I went down to the library to open. She was there again that afternoon. Not looking for me. Not obviously. She was in non-fiction, reading the back of a gardening book. I passed her in the aisle and nodded. She didn't nod back. Instead, she said, without looking up, "You keep your place tidy." I stopped. "You were checking for dust." Something like that. A pause. Then, "That couch is older than you, isn't it?" I laughed. A little. She smiled too, barely. But it stayed. I handed her a slip for checkout, our fingers brushing again. This time, she didn't pull back right away. As she turned to leave, she stopped by the exit and said, lightly, "Don't forget the tea." It was barely more than a line, but something in her voice landed different. Not flirtation. Not quite. Just familiarity, soft and complicated. She was already out the door when I realized I was still holding her library card. I didn't chase after her. I just turned it over in my hand and noticed it was worn at the edges, like it had been used more than she wanted anyone to know. Part 3, the distance between two people on the same couch, 500 words, it started raining again. August kind. Not a storm, just steady, stubborn. She came by in the early evening this time. Knocked once, then let herself in when I opened the door. Like she'd already decided something and didn't want to say it out loud. No thermos this time. She'd been crying. Not much, just enough to make the skin beneath her eyes look thin. Her hair was tied up loose. Gray strands showing. She never bothered to hide them. "Power's out on my side," she said, brushing her hands together like she needed something to do with them. "Want to stay here till it's back?" She nodded. Sat in the same spot as last time. I turned off the lamp. It felt too bright. We watched the rain from the window. Said nothing for 10, maybe 15 minutes. She crossed and uncrossed her legs. I caught myself watching her hands. "I shouldn't be here this much," she said finally. Soft. Like to herself. "You don't have to explain, I'm not explaining. I'm trying to remind myself." That made the silence heavier. She wasn't just saying it. She meant it. Still, she didn't leave. Half an hour later, we were sharing the leftover tea. Quiet again. Not uncomfortable, just aware. Then someone knocked. It was Jamie, the guy from the second floor. Half wet, holding a takeout bag. I brought extra, oh. His eyes shifted. Took her in. Her socked feet on my carpet. My body language probably said everything I didn't. Didn't mean to, he looked back at me. You good? Yeah. He nodded. Slow. Okay. Yeah. He left. No small talk. Didn't have to. She didn't say anything until he was out of earshot. You told people, she asked. Not accusing. Just surprised. I haven't told anyone, I said. But they're not dumb. She didn't respond. Just turned back toward the window. I hated that the air had shifted. I could feel her folding inward. I moved closer on the couch. Not a lot. Just enough to feel the edge of her warmth. She noticed. I'm not looking for rescue, she whispered. Not fragile. Just, worn. I know. I'm not, she paused, shook her head. I'm not trying to become something. You already are, I said. Immediate regret. Too much. She turned her head slowly. Met my eyes. It would have been easy to lean in then. We were close enough. She wasn't moving away. But I didn't. Neither did she. Instead, her fingers brushed mine, just once. Barely there. But it was deliberate. A whisper of contact. A maybe. We sat like that until the power came back on. The lights flickered. The fridge buzzed. She stood. Smoothed her sleeves. Back to herself. I should go. I opened the door for her. She paused in the frame, glanced at me like she was going to say something. Didn't. And then she was gone. The tea was cold again. But I didn't move to pour it out. Part 4, The Edge of Something We Don't Say, 500 words. She found me sitting outside the building. Late. Maybe close to midnight again. I'd brought a folding chair out front to feel the air, not hot anymore, just humid enough to make the night feel like it was pressing in gently. She didn't say anything when she sat next to me on the low brick ledge. Close, but not touching. Her perfume smelled faintly like soap and rain. I thought you were avoiding me, I said. I was, she replied. No explanation. Just that. We watched a couple walk by with a dog. The woman laughed at something the man said. The dog wagged like it knew the joke too. I saw you with someone, she said, after a beat. At the cafe yesterday. I knew who she meant, Anna. A friend from school. Study partner. Laughs too loud, taps her pencil against her coffee cup when she's thinking. It wasn't anything, I said. She nodded, but slowly. I know. But I could feel it then. The shift. The quiet tension she never let show before. I guess she started, then stopped. Ran her hands down the front of her jeans like she was smoothing something that wasn't wrinkled. It's been a long time since someone looked at me like you do. I didn't move. Just let the words land between us. And it's not fair, she added. You're not supposed to be the one doing that. Why not? She laughed under her breath. Not happy. Just tired. You're young, she said. You still have whole lives ahead of you. Versions of you I don't even get to meet. I'm here now. You won't be. Not forever. She finally looked at me. Not softly. Not guarded. Just, bare. I've already had the big love, she said. The kind that wrecks you and rebuilds you worse. I don't get another one. I almost said her name. Thought better of it. You don't know that. I do. Because this, she gestured vaguely, like she was pointing at the air between us. It feels too good. That's how I know it won't last. We sat with that for a long time. Neither of us moved. I wanted to touch her hand. Just hold it. I didn't. I think about you when you're not around, I said finally. Quiet. Like I didn't mean for her to hear it. She looked down. Closed her eyes. That's what I'm afraid of, she whispered. The air felt electric then. But not charged, more like we were both waiting for the other to move first. Say the thing. Do the thing. Instead, she stood. She didn't say goodnight. Just rested her fingers briefly on my shoulder as she passed behind the chair. I almost asked her to stay. Almost. Instead, I watched her disappear into the stairwell. Part 5, a thermos left on the stairs, 500 words, she stopped coming. No knock. No shared tea. No quiet minutes in the library aisle pretending not to notice each other. I waited 3 days, then 5. Then stopped counting. The thermos was still in my cabinet. I couldn't bring myself to move it. Tuesday afternoon, I walked by her door on my way to work. There was a small cardboard box outside. A lamp poking out the top. A framed photo turned face down. I stopped. Said he found it in the attic. I nodded. Too fast. Didn't know you still talked. We don't. Then, quieter, not really. The hallway felt narrower than usual. You okay? I asked. She hesitated. I'm fine. Too even. Like a practiced line. You haven't been around. Her eyes lifted to mine. Something flickered. Then shut down. I think it's better if I don't confuse you, she said. Who says I'm confused? She half smiled. Not kind. Not cruel. Just sad. You're not supposed to want this. You just think you do. I wanted to say something sharp. Or tender. Something real. But nothing came. Later that week, I brought her a book, left it at her door with a note. Thought you'd like this one. Page 86 feels like you. She didn't respond. Not for days. Then I saw her at the bookstore again. Not our usual quiet. She was with someone. A man maybe late 40s, familiar rhythm in their banter. Her laugh was louder. Practiced. I stayed behind the stacks. Watched him brush his hand against her back as they walked out. She didn't look around once. That night, I started to text. You looked happy today. I didn't know you had someone. Deleted. I miss our talks. Even the ones where we didn't talk at all. Deleted. Typed and erased until my phone felt warm in my hand. Eventually, I typed one last thing. If this is goodbye, I wish you would have said it out loud. I hovered. Then locked the screen. Didn't send it. The next morning, there was something on the stairs. Her thermos. No note. No explanation. Just sitting 2 steps above my door. Clean. The lid back on. I picked it up. Turned it in my hands. Still warm. Barely. Sat there with it resting in my lap for a while, like it might tell me something. Part 6, where the air doesn't rush in, 500 words, she knocked. Not midnight this time. Early evening. Light still holding on outside, the hallway dim but not dark. I opened the door, not surprised. I'd felt her coming somehow, not in sound, but in the weight of the hour. She was holding a book this time. One I'd lent her months ago. Bent at the spine now, a dog ear at page 86. I didn't forget, she said. Just didn't know if I'd get the timing right. You didn't, I said, smiling without meaning to. She stepped in like she had before. Familiar path to the couch. Sat down slowly, holding the book like it still had something alive in it. Is he your boyfriend? I asked. No build-up. She didn't flinch. No, I nodded. Waited. He used to be, she said, softer. Back when I still believed fixing old things was easier than finding new ones. I sat across from her, elbows on my knees, fingers locked. You looked different with him. I was pretending. Why? She looked up. Eyes clear. Because I wanted you to stop hoping. I looked away. Stung in a quiet, familiar way. The kind that doesn't yell. I told myself it wasn't real, she continued. Whatever this was. I thought I was being kind by ending it before it became more. And I wasn't kind. I was scared. That hung between us. Outside, the wind pushed against the window, gentle but persistent. I don't know what I am to you, she said, or what you see when you look at me. But I'm not light. I'm not simple. I never wanted simple, I said. She blinked, like she hadn't expected me to answer. I just wanted honest, I added. Even if it hurt. She let out a shaky breath, folded her hands tight on her lap. There's a part of me that wants to close this door and let it stay closed. Just to prove I can. And the other part? She looked at me then, straight on. Is tired of pretending I don't think about you when I shouldn't. I stood slowly. Walked toward the couch but didn't sit. She tilted her head up to meet my eyes. I can't promise you anything, she said. I'm not asking. A long pause. Then she reached out, not fast, not dramatic, just her hand finding mine where it hung at my side. Her thumb grazed the edge of my wrist. That was it. A simple, human touch. But it held every word we hadn't said since the beginning. No kiss. No declaration. Just a shared stillness. Then her voice again, quiet. Okay. I nodded. That's all it was. Not a beginning. Not yet. But something unclenched between us. The kind of silence where, for once, nothing needed to be filled. Part 7, a thermos, a clock, and everything we never needed to say, 500 words, it didn't happen all at once. There was no dramatic kiss in the rain, no last-minute airport chase. Just small things, stacked carefully, quietly. I started seeing her at 8:47 a.m. again. She'd show up at the bookstore the same way she always did, soft steps, leather bag, eyes scanning the shelves like the titles were holding something secret for her. Only now, she smiled when she saw me. Real one. Not polite. She'd hold up a book and say, page 86 still wins. Sometimes I'd bring her tea. Not in the thermos, she left that at my place like it belonged there now. I just carry 2 mismatched mugs upstairs. She always took the chipped one. She never asked for sugar, but I gave her 1 cube anyway. Just to see if she'd complain. She never did. We had a bench now. It wasn't fancy, just the one outside the hardware store, 2 blocks from the apartment. Midway between her old routine and mine. She'd sit there with her legs crossed at the ankle, sleeves pushed to her elbows, and let the quiet settle. Some evenings I'd join her. Not always. But enough that the people walking by stopped looking twice. We didn't hold hands. Not in public. But sometimes, her knee would graze mine. And she'd leave it there. There were still hard days. Days when she disappeared into herself, quiet, unreadable, sorting through something I wasn't invited into. Once, I found her in the stairwell, sitting 2 steps below my door. Same spot where she left the thermos months ago. She looked up, tired. Some days I don't know if I deserve quiet. You don't have to, I said. You just get it anyway. She didn't cry. Didn't speak. She just reached for my hand and held it like it was enough. It was. I never asked her to move in. She just started sleeping over more. Her toothbrush showed up beside mine. Her scarf, the gray one, was back in the hallway. The library stopped feeling like where we first met. It became part of the routine. Not magic. Not heavy. Just ours. One night, late September, we sat on the couch. Old movie playing. She leaned into my shoulder, and I felt her exhale before I heard it. You were never confused, she said softly. I shook my head. No, she didn't say, thank you. Didn't need to. We watched the rest of the film in silence. Some mornings, I still wake up early. Make coffee. Let her sleep. The clock on the wall ticks past 8:47 a.m., and for once, I'm not late to anything. Sometimes she comes into the kitchen barefoot, rubbing her eyes, muttering about the coffee being too strong. She always drinks it anyway. This morning, she picks up the thermos from the shelf. The one she left, the first night she ever knocked. She holds it up, eyes sleepy. You think this still works? I shrug, smile. Only one way to find out. She smiles back, and there's something quiet in her face. Not joy. Not peace. Just something whole. The kind of look only someone who stayed could give.